MCCW president, and I'm excited to visit with you guys today, kind of give you a state of MCCW update and tell you a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes with MCCW. I want to start first by just kind of telling you a little about who we are. So I know that most of you who follow our page probably know that what we do is we connect, unite, and inspire women around the world to grow in their Catholic faith. But I wanted to tell you a little about who we are, who the people behind the scenes are that keep our ministry going. First, there are about 40 of us around the world doing the day in and day out work of running our ministry. All of us are volunteers. We have one paid contractor who is our bookkeeper, Sue, and she keeps us on the straight and narrow with our finances. But the rest of us are volunteers. And we come from a lot of backgrounds. We have people from all the branches of service. We live all over the world. We are young, brand new military spouses or active duty women. And we are, as we like to say, more seasoned military women. We have kids or dogs or husbands or some of all three of those things or none of those things. We're cradle Catholics and converts and reverts. And we serve MCCW for an average of 2 years. So that's usually how long a term with MCCW is 2 years. And as I said, like most military, we live all over the world, which is tricky at times, both when trying to figure out when we can meet with each other, but also trying to figure out when we can schedule events that will reach you. If you think about this for a minute, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in Virginia, where we live right now. And in Asia, they are just getting up to start tomorrow. And in Europe, they're getting ready for bed, or at least if they go to bed as early as I do, they're getting up and getting ready for bed. But our friends on the West Coast are just finishing up lunch and getting back to work or back to their day. And our friends in Hawaii might just be enjoying a mid-morning cup of coffee. So you can imagine how tricky it is trying to find a time that works for everybody. So we'll talk more about that later and how we try to use technology to bridge some of those gaps. So there's 40 of us, like I said, and I want to tell you a little bit more too about what 40 volunteers, part-time volunteers with other things going on in their lives can do in 2 years. So in the past 2 years, since this board took office and this team was put into place, we have had 8 regional retreats, including the first official regional retreat in Asia after making Asia its own region. We have planned a forum. We have postponed a forum, we have planned another forum, we have canceled a forum, and now we have planned our Faux Fiesta forum, which I'm really excited about. It starts in a couple of days, and I'm going to come back to talking about that in a little bit and tell you a little bit more about how you can get involved in that exciting event. We've inspired you with in-person and virtual days of reflection. We've brought people together for leadership trainings on topics that matter to our women, especially those women who are working in ministry in their chapels. We've talked about discernment. We've talked about mentoring. We've talked about building a stronger relationship with your chaplain. And a shameless plug here, don't forget to sign up for our Finding Your Fiat leadership training that we're going to be doing during our Faux Fiesta forum. It's fantastic, and it's very, very focused on what is going on in our world right now with the pandemic. And how we can still say yes to serving in God's kingdom, even at a time when life is a little bit tricky. So sign up for that today. You can find information about it on our website, mccw.org. We have also in the past 2 years come together as a worldwide organization and raised $50,000 to endow a scholarship to support our seminarians. That's huge. In the past, our women have given generously to support our AMS co-sponsored seminarians, but it was just kind of an every year, however much we could raise kind of thing. With the endowed scholarship, we will be giving more and more in perpetuity to the seminarians, which is wonderful. We've also connected you with more than 20 issues of Our Well. Our Well is a beautiful monthly publication. Our graphic designer, Jean, does an amazing job on that, and we are so excited every month when we get to deliver that to your inboxes with lots of good news and information. And we've grown our social media community. We're here on our Facebook page. Our Facebook group, our MCCW closed private group, has over 1,800 members now, which is huge, and more people join that group every day. And we have rolled out our very new tagline, Connect, Unite, and Inspire, which I like to use a lot. And I think really accurately gets at the work that we do as an organization. So that's a little bit of what the outward work that we've done in the past 2 years look like, the things that we have done that you guys see on a regular basis. But I did want to take just a quick minute, without going into too much detail, to tell you a little about the work that happens behind the scenes, because there's a lot of work that goes into running this ministry, keeping this ministry moving forward, but isn't seen by everyone we serve. So in the past 2 years, our board and our volunteers have tackled an enormous amount of administrative projects and tasks, including totally revamping our finance policies and the way we handle money and the way we account for our money and the way we track our money. We have completely revamped all of our communication systems. I mentioned the well, our social media efforts, Instagram, all of the different things we do with communications have been revamped as well. We have updated our discernment processes. We've updated the terms for the board, like how long the board serves and how we stagger that. And we've updated also the process for transitions for the board. And then we have written, my board would laugh if they could tell you how many SOPs and processes and handbooks to improve continuity. In an organization whose leadership switches out every 2 years, it's really important to have that continuity. Hi, Jen. I see Jen Carter just popped out and said hello. I'm happy that you're here watching. So all of those administrative changes, though, I want to tell you, weren't just change for change's sake. It was really in response to needs identified by our members. 2 years ago, we did a bunch of focus groups and asked you what it was you wanted us to be doing to serve you better. And also brainstorming sessions that our board has done, both the previous board and this board, brainstorm to say what can we do to make MCCW even better and even more able to connect, unite, and inspire. So that's been a result of all of that. And I don't know if you guys know, I hope you know because we've been talking about it, but MCCW is 65 years old this year, which is pretty amazing. We've been around longer than the Archdiocese for the military services. We've been around for a long time. Generations of women have done the work that laid the foundation for where we are today. And I really believe that the work that this board has been doing, that these volunteers have been doing, is going to lay the foundation for another 65 wonderful years of connecting, uniting, and inspiring. And that's one of the places where I want to talk to you about how you can get involved in what we do. I know that you have heard and seen and read a lot about discernment because we talk about discernment all the time. And the reason we talk about discernment all the time is that it's an ongoing thing. It's the way we select our leaders. Yay, 65 years of sisterhood. That's right, Patty. Thank you. So yeah, discernment is the way we select our leaders. And I like to say there's always room at the table. There is always room at the table for you and the gifts that you bring and the gifts that you have to offer. And so we talk about discernment all the time. I want to ask you to think for a minute about the ways that MCCW has touched you in your life. I first came to MCCW almost 12 years ago in Germany. We were stationed at Hohenfels, and I was staying at home with my first daughter for the first time. I had been working full time, and I had had my baby, and I was staying home. So it was a different phase of life for me, and CWC is kind of where I found a home for myself in that phase of life. But think about where MCCW has touched you, the ways that MCCW has been a part of your life and connected and united and inspired you. And then think about if that's something that you could give to someone else. Is this the time when maybe you're being called to step up and share your gifts, and by doing so, help other people be connected, united, and inspired by the work MCCW does? There are plenty of reasons to answer no to that question. I know, life is busy. The kids are too old. The kids are too young. It's a PCS year. My job is demanding. I don't know our faith well enough. I know, I feel all those things too. I feel all those things too, all the time. Sometimes I tell my board I have Catholic things Kim doesn't know questions, and they always help fill me in on all the things I don't know. But you also know the sayings that God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. God never gives us more than we can handle. They're silly, they're pithy, but there's some truth in those things too. His grace is more than enough to get you through serving in MCCW. And we have fun. Ladies, we have fun. The ladies on this board, the nine of us on the board of directors, and our regional teams and our other volunteers are some of the very best friends I have. And they teach me constantly about my faith. They teach me constantly about friendship. Some of their kids are friends with my kids. It's just a really beautiful, Patty said sisterhood. It's a really beautiful sisterhood. And if that isn't enough, serving on the MCCW board looks great on your resume. So if you're like me and you haven't worked professionally outside the home in a while, this is a good thing to brush up your resume with. And this is the time to be thinking about it. We are getting ready to hold discernment for half of our board of directors just in a couple of weeks. We're looking for someone to fill the role of president, forum director, finance director, communications director, and one of our at-large positions. And shortly on the heels of that in the spring, we'll be discerning the other half of our board. We'll be looking for a new director of regional coordinators, 2 new directors at large, director of stewardship, oh my goodness, and a director of faith formation. So there's lots and lots of positions on the board, but we'll also in the spring be rolling into discernment in our regions. You know, there's lots of roles that you can do at the regional level. And if I haven't mentioned anything that you have the skills to do or you don't feel like you're called to, tell me what you do have. We can use you. We can use all the hands we can get to do the work we do. But maybe it's not the time for you to get involved in that way, but you can still do something to help. Many of you may recall, many of you who've been around MCCW for a while may recall that MCCW only just became a registered nonprofit about 7 years ago. After several years under the Army Chief of Chaplains, the AMS, the Archdiocese for Military Services, helped us to step out on our own and become independent. But independent doesn't just refer to how we do our work. Independent also refers to how we fund the work that we do and fund the work of our ministry. For years, our women have given generously to support our seminarians. And as I said, we've endowed our scholarship. We continue to grow that perpetual charity and to focus on that as our one and only charitable mission of MCCW. But as a young nonprofit, we also need to grow our base of donors, the donors who give generously to MCCW, so that we can continue to do all those things I talked about, holding retreats, training you to lead ministries in your chapel, holding forum, all of the different things that we do, holding days of reflection, growing our online community and our communications efforts. And ladies, so we need to grow that. We need to grow that base of donors. But I want to tell you too that MCCW is extremely careful with every dollar that we receive. Because we don't have a physical office, you can see my office right here behind me. This is the desk that I share with my 9-year-old son. He goes to school over there and I work over here. Because we don't have a physical office, because we don't have paid staff other than our one contractor, our overhead is very, very low. So almost all of the money we receive in the form of generous gifts, designated offerings from chapels, grants, all of that money gets plowed right back into programming that connects, unites, and inspires you and other women around the world. I'm hoping all of you have seen the news about our Boots and Blessings fundraiser that is coming up starting this Sunday. That will benefit both MCCW and our seminarians. So I encourage you to, if you haven't already signed up and bought your registration packet for that, please do that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Do that. And also remember that Giving Tuesday is coming up. Giving Tuesday is one of our biggest fundraising efforts each year. This year it's on December 1st. And consider making a gift to support MCCW to allow us to continue connecting and uniting and inspiring women, like I said, for another 65 years. I wanted to go back real quick and talk about our Faux Fiesta Forum, which is coming up. We start on Sunday, opening Mass with the Archbishop. It's going to be live streamed right here on Sunday at noon Eastern. We are so very excited. Our board, like I said, we planned forum, we had to postpone it. We planned forum again, we had to cancel it. And we sat down and we really kind of went back to the drawing board and said, what is God calling us to do this year in this hard time, in this time of pandemic? And what we really got to was that we need connection. I miss people. I miss hugging people. I miss being with people. And so that's what we want to focus on for this event. We want to focus on connecting with you. We've got some great things planned. We've got ladies' nights in every region. And I wanted to make sure, I got a question earlier about if you live in one region, can you go to another ladies' night? Absolutely. The ladies' nights are by region so that we could, again, go back to that time zone thing. We could find a time that maybe works for people who live in that area. But if you are like me and you used to live in the Western region and you just moved to where do I live now? The Northeastern region. But you want to go back to the Western region and reconnect with those ladies, sign up for that one. If you live somewhere in the United States and you want to go to the one in Asia because you want to find out what's going on over there and you want to get up at a weird time of night to do that, then do that. Everyone is welcome at all of those events. We also have 4 great keynotes lined up. We have all 4 of our auxiliary bishops have agreed to do Q&As. They'll be doing those live right here on Facebook. So please come back and chat with Bishop Coffey, Bishop Mumm, Bishop Spencer, and Bishop Buchan over the next 2 weeks. I mentioned we have the Finding Your Fiat training module, which is going to be fantastic. Nancy, our faith formation director, has put together a fantastic presentation. And for those of you who are on your chapel ministry boards, your CWC boards, this is a fantastic presentation that we are putting together in a way that you can come and participate with us as a CWC, as an individual, but then you can also take it back to your CWC and do it as a program. It's all packaged together. We've got the discussion questions. Nancy will give you the script, or you can use, we're going to record Nancy presenting it. You can use that in your chapels too. So hopefully a really great tool that you could take back and use in your chapels. If you aren't in a CWOC or you aren't in a chapel that is able to meet as a CWOC, you can do all of the Faux Fiesta Forum stuff right here from your living room or your office. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on the computer. And we are putting everything that we are, like all of the speakers, all of the information, all of those things on our YouTube channel. We're trying to get a designated URL for our YouTube channel, so go subscribe, go find it. It's MCCW Worldwide on YouTube, and if you subscribe, we got to get 100 subscribers, and then we'll get a fancy URL that says MCCW in it instead of the funny mix of letters and numbers we have right now. But all of the content from Faux Fiesta Forum will also be available on our YouTube channel, so that if you can't watch when it's live on Facebook, you can go watch it any old time. You can watch it in the evening, you can watch it early in the morning, whatever time of day works for you. That is just about everything, ladies, that I wanted to update you on today. Before we go, and before I ask if there's any questions, I really just want to thank you all. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Serving this organization is an absolute joy for me. It is one of my favorite things that I do, and it has helped me and my family grow in our faith more than I ever could imagine. And I know that my board feels the same way. Our board and our volunteers love working for MCCW. They love serving each of you, and we are grateful to all of you for the opportunity to serve you. So if there's any questions, please throw them in the comments over there and I will answer them. I did get a couple of questions beforehand, but I think I might have covered them. They were mostly about Faux Fiesta Forum. And again, please sign up for whatever ladies' night socials you want to join. You don't have to do the one in your region. If your chapel doesn't have an MCCW or CWC, or you go to a civilian parish and you're not even in a military chapel, you can still come to Faux Fiesta Forum. You can still sign up to do the sign-up registration required events, and you are absolutely still a part of our military sisterhood in MCCW. So everything we do is for you as well. And then the last question was just about programming. And a lot of our programming, like I said, will be available on YouTube. So go check that out on YouTube. It's MCCW Worldwide. Please go to that page and subscribe so we can get a fancy URL. I'm not seeing any other questions in the comments, but I'm grateful to all of you who came and watched and chatted and said hello. And I look forward to seeing you guys over the next couple of weeks at our Faux Fiesta Forum. And as soon as we can do in-person events, I look forward to seeing you back in person and getting hugs again, because I miss hugs. All right, ladies, I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks so much. Bye.